Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and we've made it. We're at the finale. And the last but not least is the Rogue. The Roguey will be our last preview. I was hoping for some Demon Hunter stuff, but no, they're not going to give us a preview of Demon Hunters just yet. Blizzard has tweeted out to say this is the last one they are doing, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer for the old Demon Hunter. Sad times. It was the one I was most looking forward to anyway. Get a better idea of how those bad boys play out. But we'll see. We'll see. As always, before we get into our Rogue, the caveat. This is the very basic foundation of these specs. Most of your spells aren't listed here. These are not the only spells you're going to get. They are subject to change. We are months away from Legion, and we are also missing the talents and the artifacts which are going to bolster and tack on and add layers of play to these specs. So please do not be one of those rage-filled hate mongers that belongs on the internet somewhere away from here. Always have an open mind and be prepared for change. It's all good. Let us begin then with Assassination, the least changed spec so far going into Legion. One of the favourite tools of the Assassin is a pair of daggers, coated with vicious poisons. The damage they inflict is deceiving at first. The initial wounds often seem survivable, even superficial. Then the toxins set about their business. Wounds don't close, and blood loss continues unabated. Assassins begin their work stealthily, choosing their targets and methods of engagement carefully, but once committed to a course of action, they stick to their target until the job is done, rather than disappearing into the shadows to avoid their quarry's blows. Yes, indeed, and as I said, Assassination is the one that seems to remain relatively unchanged. They want to make more of a deal out of poisons, and in fact, Assassination is the only rogue spec that now has access to poisons. None of the other two do. On that stamp, they are pushing Venomous Wounds by adding another dot in the form of Garrote. Yes, Garrote didn't see much use over its life in WoD, besides being the silence effect in the PvP. I want to point out very early on here, there are definitely some PvP concerns from the Rogue. Even I can see it. I'm not going to talk about them here today. I'm not qualified enough in the PvP world. So Garrote can be used outside of stealth and will be an extra bleed on top of Rupture, which then flows into the Venomous Wounds, as most of you will know, is you regain 10 energy each time. You regain 10 energy each time you deal bleed damage to a poison target. So this spec is going to play pretty fucking fast, hopefully. Yeah, pretty fucking fast, because Envenom's only 35 energy, Mutilate's only 55 energy, and so we should expect a lot of fucking energy flowing out of this bad boy, okay? And it increases the damage done by your poisons, as mastery, as always it does. So very much exactly the same as it does now, guys. I'd be interested to see when we start spreading like Garrotes and Ruptures all over the place to see exactly what goes on with that. That kind of could be interesting. It kind of could be interesting. The talent they gave us was Elaborate Planning. Finishers grant 20% increased damage for 4 seconds. I don't know if that's a troll. I mean, 4 seconds isn't a great deal of time to pull off something special, especially after you've just done your finisher. So, I don't know. It's not tickling my dick anyway, I'll say that. It's just about, I guess it's just supposed to be the poison damage. So you'll be going for Mutilates or whatever immediately after Envenom. I think it's just supposed to be pooling your energy and not using, like... I think the idea of this talent is you would pool your energy, as we always do anyway, before Envenom, and then just change in with us and with Mutilate instantly instead of using it on like Garrote or something, which doesn't do very strong initial damage. So I think that's the idea, I guess, just to get those poison ticks going, I suppose. But that's all for Assassination, guys. It really is that simple. Not very little changing at all. So on to Combat, which has disappeared entirely. Where are you, Combat? That's right, Combat is gone and been replaced by Outlaw. Now, you probably have many ideas about what this might mean when we saw the name Outlaw appear earlier on at BlizzCon. So let's get into it then. Outlaw rogues are unscrupulous scoundrels of Azeroth, operating outside the law. They bend the rules and distort the truth to get what they need. While they share plenty in common with other rogues, these outlaws have little use for tact or discretion. Happy to engage in a tavern brawl or spontaneous duel, rarely patient enough to wait in stealth for the opportune time to engage. To survive in such a world, outlaws must become master swordsmen in toe-to-toe combat, and they can't shy away from fighting dirty. If blade fails to cut too deeply, the outlaw takes advantage of a concealed pistol, catching the enemy by surprise with a quick blast. Ooh, we get a gun! Boom, motherfucker! I got my 9, I got my Glock, whatever you want to say. Yep, we're packing heat. We're packing heat, son, as the outlaw. Now, there's a lot of new names flying around here, but it's essentially Combat, right? Blade Flurry remains, Adrenaline Rush remains, all that kind of stuff remains, but you have a gun. And it works like dispatch, essentially. Okay? So, let's get into it. So, this one of your crucial spells is Saber Slash. Definitely not Sinister Strike. Although we'll abbreviate it to SS, boys. Just for the sake, you know what I mean? But it's definitely not Sinister Strike. Saber Slash, yeah? Outlaws, not combat rogues. Okay, Blizz. 50 energy! Woo! 50 energy. Viciously slash an enemy, causing damage, giving you 1 combo point. Now, that's not the important bit. They kind of built in, you know, Relentless Strike. They kind of built that in. Saber Slash has a 35% chance to strike an additional times, like a Wind Fury effect, and grant an additional combo point and damage, and a chance to make your next pistol shot for free. Okay, so every time you Saber Slash, this is a good reason that it's 50 energy, to be honest. 50 energy, wait, because you might get an extra combo point, which changes your decision-making process, and you might have a free pistol shot. Bang, bang. And that pistol shot also awards a combo point, right? So, pistol shot is 40 energy, so you can use pistol shot without the proc. Okay, 20 yard range, so you can build combo points from range now. You draw your pistol and do a quick shot, bang, bang, dealing moderate damage and reducing movement speed by 50%. So this is what I was talking about PvP. Yeah, it's going to cost you 40 energy for a ranged slow. Nah, it's not tied to any kind of poison or anything, so there you go. It gives you 1 combo point. So you have your Sinister Strike, Saber Slash, Sinister Slash, Saber Strike, and Pistol Shot. Slash and shoot, right? So Slice and Dice remains run through, definitely not eviscerate, guys. Whatever they tell you. 35 energy and 1 to 5 combo points. That's right, notice this doubling up of adding energy to the finishes. I don't know if I like that. We'll see how it plays out. But it has an 8 yard range, instant. It's a lunging finishing move that causes damage per combo point. So it's eviscerate with a lunge, okay? Like, hamacho! It's the way you've got to look at it, because it's like a pirate theme. So I think more fencing than anything. That's what they're going for. Combat potency remains, okay? Offhand attacks can restore energy. You've all been there before. Ruthlessness remains. 20% chance per combo point to grant a combo point. And, of course, main gouge remains. So it's combat, but with a pistol. It's essentially exactly the same. All right? It might have a new name, but it's combat with a pistol. And kind of like a dispatch mechanic on top of it. So that's what Outlaw is all about. The talent gives us is Quick Draw. Free uses of Pistol Shot granted by Saber Slash. Get an additional combo point and deal 50% increased damage. So that seems more like the Sustained DPS talent you would take, I guess. Yeah, Sustained DPS talent. Nothing particular. If you've ever played combat before, this comes as no fucking surprise. If you're wondering where Killing Spree is, they said it's more than likely going to be a talent, if you're wondering. So don't worry, Killing Spree probably still exists. Now let's go on to the rogue spec that actually did change a lot. Which is, and I am kind of, I've got to say, I'm a little salty. Of all the specs that I wanted to change a lot, Sub wasn't one of them. Sub is great. I really like Sub in WoD. It wasn't the one I thought needed an overhaul, but here we are. Okay, so Sub Rogues, oh sorry, big boy voice. Sub Rogues are the masters of the shadows, and they strike unseen. They don't have the lethal poison-tipped daggers of the assassin, or the brawling prowess of the outlaw. But their acumen in the battlefield and ability to hide in plain sight are unrivaled. Some claim the art of subtlety looks like malevolent shadow magic. But no matter where their power is derived, these rogues are capable of performing devastating assaults on their enemies, slipping away unharmed to strike again without detection. Most rogues train their entire lives to learn how to walk in the shadows. Subtlety rogues were born there. So dark. So freaking fucking dark. Anyway, Sub's basically got a whole host of new spells, guys. So I'm going to lay this down for you, and then we can talk about how it's going to work. So, they get Shadow Strike. No ambush. Okay, no ambush. 40 energy, requires stealth. It involves a shadow step within itself. It's got a 30 yard range, so it builds in a shadow step to it. Hits like a truck ambush style and gives you 2 combo points. Alright, so they've merged them into Shadow Strike. Is 2 of those abilities there. Backstab still exists. You can backstab from the front, but there's a 30% damage buff if you do it from behind. Okay, so this makes it a little less tedious, because obviously hemorrhage is gone from what we can appear. Hemorrhage is out the window, but you can use backstab out in the open world, which I'm more than fine with. So, I mean, hemorrhage DPS is so fucking shit if you're doing solo play, so you wouldn't be using sub in those scenarios. So you can backstab. It's a 30% DPS loss to do it from anywhere from other than behind. 1 combo point, usual filler. We then gain Nightblade. Strange name for what it is. It's basically Shadow Damage Rupture. Costs 25 energy and 1 to 5 combo points, and there's a Shadow Damage dot. It's just Rupture, but it's now Shadow Damage. But they've called it Nightblade. Whatever. Eviscerate is still Eviscerate. Does nothing different. Shadow Dance is now gone in the idea that you guys know how Shadow Dance is. This is one of the saltiest things about this, because doing a really good Shadow Dance is a key, awesome moment of everybody who plays a sub-rogue. When you pull off a crispy Shadow Dance, there is nothing better about playing a sub-rogue. A crispy Shadow Dance is so good. So good. When you get the energy perfect and it all lines up so sweet and your rupture doesn't fall off because it's awesome. Anyway. So how does Shadow Dance work now? You have a 20% per combo point. I've put per combat, I can see that now. Per combo point to activate stealth for 3 seconds. Seconds, oh my god. Excuse me, I put it down to my illness. So 20% per combo point to activate stealth for 3 seconds. Okay, this is on your finishers, yeah? So, when you use Eviscerate or Nightblade, you will go into stealth and just Shadow Strike. That's the only sort of synergy we can see right now. Okay, is you'll basically be getting ready, and you'll realize Shadow Strike requires 40 energy. Maybe there'll be some talent that reduces the energy cost like we have right now, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So essentially the idea is you're going to use your finisher when you can definitely Shadow Strike. Okay, so you'll use your finisher, Nightblade or Eviscerate, and then immediately Shadow Strike. This also allows you to target swap quite well. I would like something that guarantees... well, I assume Vanish still exists. I was thinking to myself, in fact, this is really good for target switching. So let's say you're about to... Let's say we're doing a boss like Clappy Hands Man in Blackrock... not Blackrock Foundry. Yeah, Blackrock Foundry. Clappy Hands Man, and you have to get to a certain pillar. Is that if you can see a pillar is struggling and you need to assist with DPS on there, is you could do something like a 5 combo point Nightblade on the pillar you're on now. That's a 5 combo finisher. That's going to activate Shadow Dance, and then you can Shadow Strike the next one. Now, a lot of you will say, yeah, but we could just fucking Shadow Step it in the past, Preacher, or you could do that. And I just realized you can, in fact, just Vanish. More than likely, Vanish Shadow Strike and do exactly the same thing. But it's quite nice, nonetheless, that it has this built-in component. It seems way simplified. I hope they're going to give us something to replace Shadow Dance, honestly. Because Shadow Dance was so beautiful. It was a wonderful, wonderful cooldown. The way it worked, I just really, really enjoyed. They've altered Hat, Honor Among Thieves, for those of you who are listening and not sure how this is, to Shadow Techniques. And it's auto-attack RNG combo points. So Hat works on crits and stuff. I just hope, and people are getting a bit pissed about this, we don't know anything about it. I hope it's literally on the same internal cooldown as Hat was, and it's more useful for us in the solo world. It makes no difference to us in the raid world. That's all I'm hoping for with Shadow Techniques, is that it doesn't rely on crits anymore, and you just get this steady flow of combo points all the fucking time. Because we basically had that anyway, even solo when you had decent gear. So as if that's all it is, I'm more than happy. I hope the chance is that it procs so often that it's waiting on the internal cooldown, which is 3 seconds, I think, for Hat, from memory. So that's all I'm asking for. That is really all I'm asking for. Oh, Relentless Strikes. I'm a noob talking about that earlier before we Shadow Strike. I'm sure you've already commented about going into stealth and making sure you get the energy. Relentless Strikes, passive, you gain an additional 40 energy when you're into stealth. So there's your new buffer, I suppose. No pooling needed in order to get that Shadow Strike after every finisher. There it is, all wrapped up in a nice, neat nutshell for you. So, Sub's the one that got a big change. Basically, it's not even a big change, if we're being completely honest, is it? The big change is Shadow Dance. And it saddens me. It makes me a little bit on the sad side, I'm not going to lie. There was no real need for us to do this, and it kind of brings in a sort of... It's not going to be static, I suppose. I mean, the basic gameplay is going to be just keep Shadow Strike on Dance and your opener, keep the Nightblade dot up, which is Rupture as we do now, build with Backstab and Eviscerate when you've got the extra combo points, and nothing more, nothing less. So, where's Fine Weakness? Where's all this cool stuff? Where's Master of Subtlety? Do these things still exist? Because this is what gave us the real good feeling with Sub. And they're not mentioned, which is what makes me sad. And it doesn't mean they don't exist, okay? We have to be real clear about that. It doesn't mean they don't exist. But where's Master of Subtlety? Where's Fine Weakness? Where's these things that gave it interest? Because honestly, if it's just keep up Rupture, and that's it, and other than that, we're just backstabbing and then finishing and using Shadow Strike and then carrying on over and over again, that's really ruined this spec. And hopefully the talents are going to bring all that shit in, alright? But remember, after all said and done, we get a gun! We get a gun! And that's something to be thankful for. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening to all my class previews. They're all on the channel, all on the playlist. Please enjoy. I'll see you again. Bye bye.